Have you ever heard about the language and literacy journey of a Lebanese triplet? Well, you are now. My language and literacy development stage didn't start properly, since I was born 2 months prematurely, leading to me to be in the hospital for the first 10 months of my life. As soon as we left, we already came home in our proverbial stage, due to the support of our parents always being there for us, and me and my brothers being in the same bed, which allowed me to always communicate with someone. Every single day, my parents spoke to me, played with me, fed me, which ultimately led to me speaking my first word, Dada, which this began my vocabulary development at the age of 1. Funny enough, after I said my first word, it triggered both my brothers, and which led to them also speaking their first word. Considering both my parents are Lebanese, you would expect them to start speaking English and Arabic to me to make me a simultaneous bilingual child. However, my parents only wanted me to speak English because they didn't want any confusion for us, which led to me to become a monolingual child. As we were the first kids in our whole family, assumptions of learning behavioral theory was essential, as we were in an environment filled with adults spoiling us and giving us non-stop attention. As time went on, through the first 5 years of my life, we were challenged to speak with a reward system, which was money and chocolate to learn the basics of reading, improving my Tier 1 vocabulary. This worked tremendously. As through kindergarten, our language and literacy skills skyrocketed through the groundwork of my family's teachings. I was a smart cookie. One of my favorite books that got me excited to read was Who Sank the Boat by Pamela Allen. I struggled at first reading this book, as I didn't know the words, but my mum read to me slowly, sounding out each word, which aided me in my journey to read. Also, my dad and uncles always created bedtime stories, which helped me learn even more Tier 1 language, as they always have little twists during every story. This made me so eager to learn how to read even more. When I was in kindergarten, I loved drawing and playing, which helped me master telegraphic language, as I always loved speaking to my family. Primary school was the next step in my journey. This helped me become more social, meet teachers, and expand my knowledge of language and literacy. I had a very large friend group, as me and my brothers were in separate classes, and each friends they made also became my friends. Social communications propelled further language and cognitive growth, as it helped me reach Tier 1 vocabulary. As a prep, the spark to write came from learning how to write my name. Learning how to write Romy felt so accomplished and propelled me in my literacy. Throughout grade 1 to 6, we all had journals. Every day I played video games with my brothers. We played Super Mario Bros, Call of Duty, Skylanders, the Wii Sports. Every single day I would write about these moments, but also add a little creative twist, whether that's a monster stealing all our games or we get trapped on the moon. This aided my syntax, morphology, semantics, pragmatics, and phonology, as I continued to write on a consistent basis. Also, my large friend group taught me how to be patient when speaking to people and to never cut them off, which improved my listening skills, creating a smart little boy. High school in some ways felt like the final level of my educational journey, with an increase in my literacy and language skills. For example, the use of teal throughout my high school years helped me polish my essays as I became older. During my journey, I went through a pandemic. During the pandemic, you would think I lost all my social intuition. During the pandemic, you would think I'd also lose my language and literacy skills. However, with the help of my brothers, we never lost our footing. Code switching was used a lot during high school. Whether I was watching the NBA Finals, watching Giannis dunk over Chris Paul, to quickly switching back into online class, answering questions about the next English task. Also during class, switching from slang with my friends and some teachers to speaking in a professional manner, talking about the next assignment on one of our sacks. During senior school, I was trying my best to obtain Tier 3 vocabulary, as I always ranged through Tier 2 vocabulary and a bit of Tier 3. I struggled to utilize fully Tier 3 vocabulary, but however, during my course, I aimed to utilize Tier 3 vocabulary on a consistent basis. Other than that, I never really struggled during high school. However, that all changed in Year 12. I lost all of my habits, which strengthened my language and literacy skills, like reading and journaling. This led to me to make some silly mistakes, like using slang, using too many irrelevant words, and only focusing on the word count rather than the quality of each word. My teacher told me to start reflective writing, which forced me to think more deeply about my writing and question what I'm doing wrong. And how I could avoid using Tier 1 vocabulary in essay writings and focus on my Tier 2 and 3 vocabularies. This allowed me to improve my sentence level and concise writing, as I eliminated any irrelevant words, while making my syntax, morphology, semantics, pragmatics, and phonology writing at a Year 12 standard. With these, I took a complete 180, mastering my Tier 2 vocabulary and passing all of my Year 12 SACs after Term 1. While I was working at KFC, I always switched from social language to formal language. For example, calling the Sigma boys of KFC to make some chicken to, "Hello, welcome to KFC, what can I get for you?" This taught me how to quickly switch how I speak depending on any social situation. Now I am in Latrobe. I'm starting to get used to the workload in university, but one thing I would like to improve on throughout my journey is in-text citations and referencing. I was used to a very different way of referencing in high school, where we just Control-C, Control-V, instead of just having the in-text citation. I would also like to improve on my Tier 3 vocabulary and use it on a consistent basis. I'm very excited to see how my language and literacy skills develop in university. And I would like to thank you.